before we move to standards and assessment, I think we need to take a quick break, but I also think that I made a mistake on the last agenda item. Was Chair Huntsman present for that item? But Board Member Belknap, you're muted.
Yeah, I will send her something of every vote that he wasn't here for to Sybil.
Was he here for that vote?
He was not. But it's unanimous with who was here.
I'm talking about the last, the whole last agenda item, the monster sharp survey motion. Was he here for that vote?
He was not.
Then it did not pass. But Sybil, can you give us a count of the votes? Because I counted the no votes as 7, and if Chair Huntsman's not here, then we only had 7 yes votes and it didn't pass.
That's right.
You would have been the prevailing vote.
No.
Only if Chair Huntsman was here.
So can you read through them and I'll write it down?
Hold on one moment.
And let's just make sure that everybody is comfortable with that was their vote. So say them to me, Sybil.
Thank you. One moment. I had to get back to my motion on that. Substitute motion. Okay, so for the substitute motion, I have members Klein. These are at the opposed votes. Member Klein, Belknap, Earl, Hart, Hutchings, Hymas, and Moss opposed. So I have 7 opposed.
So it's actually 8 then because Chair Huntsman was not here.
Well, it's not, that's not true. It was a 7-7 vote. It failed.
Right. It did fail because Chair Huntsman wasn't there. He wasn't a no vote. He was not here.
Yeah, so essentially how that changes the outcome of that vote is that the board still goes through the, well, then does the board still go through the task force to have an opportunity to support in October?
No, there can be, you could go back to, because that was the substitute motion that failed. You can go back to the final motion now that's up above because the substitute motion failed.
So we need to go back to that agenda and vote.
For the final motion, yep. But may I make an amendment?
Yes, you may.
Thank you. I'd like to make an amendment to that final motion and can we just add the last part of the task force, Angie, if you're typing?
Add. Yeah. So then as amended, this motion would not maintain support until and if we meet.
Right.
We'll meet on October 1st and a task force will evaluate and we will decide at that point if we are going to support for the
Can I
new.
make a recommendation instead of October 1st, the October board meeting?
Great idea.
Chair Lear, are you okay with that? Well, I guess it's really mine now. Yeah, I am.
Yeah, it's yours now.
So we have a motion on the floor.
But wait a minute, I haven't finished amended.
Okay.
The board withdraws support of the 2023 SHARP survey and convene a work group. So I want to remove the rest of that. So yeah, thank you. I'm getting rid of the rest of that, but adding that.
So she's getting rid of the words.
Until a thorough investigation, I'm adding and convene a work group to study it. So I'm adding to that final motion, which is that the board withdraws support of the 2023 SHARP survey, but I'm getting rid of that last sentence in the
Okay.
final motion and adding,
So we need to vote on the amendment first, and then
Yeah.
we need to vote on
but we
the,
don't have a second yet to that.
do we have a
Second.
second to this amendment? Board Member Hutchins, second. We have an amendment on the floor would be to add and convene a work group to study the concerns and issues raised during this discussion, including the authority by which the Sharp survey is administered, and that the work group provide a report to the board by October 22 board meeting after Sharp survey, and delete the rest of the sentence.
Yeah, that's accurate.
Do you have a comment on this amendment, Board Member Klein?
What part are we deleting?
We are deleting a thorough accounting of student health initiatives across USBE can be completed because that is included in the issues that were raised during the discussion.
Okay, and then who makes up the work group? I'm curious, or how does that,
We don't know yet.
how is the work group normally assigned? Is it members of the board or is it someone else?
There's a difference between a work group and a task force. The work group is convened by staff, am I right? And the task force is decided by board leadership or just Chair Huntsman, actually.
That's made up of board members, both of them?
Some,
Jeff has an answer.
it can be. Jeff Van Holten, can you define?
Yes,
for-
I just want to add that the policy 1004 defines a task force as groups, including working groups. So it is kind of a tomato. And in that case, the chair of the board would pick the membership.
Okay, so with this working group, would the chair of the board pick the membership?
Yep.
Yes, and it can, to board member Klein's question, it can include board members, yes.
But it can include anybody else as well.
Correct. Mhm.
Like our members from the Sharp survey, our guests
Yes, you can bring on people from the outside community.
for information. Okay, board member Straight,
Come on. Okay, there we go. So I would like to make an amendment.
okay? This will be an amendment to the amendment.
So I want to add it in though, so it might just, let's see. So withdraw support until which time the work group can report back.
It already says that above. It says the board withdraws support of the 2023 Sharp survey until
Okay, good.
Good.
we can convene a work group.
Okay, just as long as we're gonna act one way or another at that point, I'm fine. Thank you. Sorry.
That language until the work group convenes and reports is still included, correct?
Yes.
G. Stallings,
Sorry, I thought we were ending right here after survey and then putting and convene. So
Right.
would you like to say until a work group is convened?
No,
Would that be the-
no, we've got it actually correct, Angie.
Okay,
But after survey, all of that has gone up above in that final motion. I know you can't get rid of it because that's board member Klein's motion. I'm amending it to get rid of that and adding the rest at the bottom.
so what you're saying is the motion, the support's withdrawn, but we're also convening a work group to study the issue.
Yes,
And it may be put back in on October 22nd, essentially.
Yes.
This is saying.
yes.
Okay. Do you want to make a different amendment to the amendment? Board Member Strader, is that how you understand it as well?
No, just as long as we're revisiting it later, I'm fine.
Okay,
Because we've already done it this year, so
yeah. So we will revisit on October board meeting. Board Member Klein, discussion to this amendment?
Yeah, I would just make an amendment to the amendment to add in and until the issues are resolved in a way that is satisfactory to the board. Is that implied?
Implied.
That's implied, but if you want to, we can see if it,
Otherwise, it just looks like, it's until October, when the work group
Until was
reports
taken
back.
out, until was taken out. So it says it will be withdrawn and a
Okay.
committee will convene. But
Okay,
it doesn't say it has to be.
so it's not being reinstated automatically
Nope.
just after the board meeting. Okay, that works fine. Then I'll withdraw my amendment.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor and we have an amendment on the floor and seeing no other hands. We will vote on the amendment to add and convene a work group to study the concerns and issues raised during this discussion, including the authority by which the SHARP survey is administered, and the work group provide a report to the board by October 2022 board meeting after SHARP survey, and delete the rest of the sentence. Board members, please vote. Board Member Norton. There we go. That passes unanimously. I saw that right. Now we have a motion on the floor that the board withdraw support of the 2023 SHARP survey and convene a work group to study the concerns and issues raised during this discussion, including the authority by which the SHARP survey is administered, and that the work group provide a report to the board by October 2022 board meeting. Seeing no hands, board members, please vote. That passes with board members Hanson and Lear opposed. And Cannon opposed. Thank you for your patience. I apologize that I missed that Chair Huntsman wasn't here when we did that counting. I just came to my brain as we were going through the next motions. Let's take a 6-minute break and reconvene at 6:10. And Chair Hanson, you will be up with standards and assessment report.
Everybody run.
Run. We're going to start right at 6:10. Now it's 5 minutes.